my audience only understood this thing, then it would help them achieve this goal that they ask me about all the time. This is it. Like, it's like a eureka moment. I need more clients. My pipeline is dry. I want to sell more products, blah, blah, blah. Just stop. Just stop. You don't need to do that anymore. Trust that those people are going to buy what you have to sell anyway, because they're going to want more of what you have to offer. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach, as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and I do all the things. As I am recording this, I am in my condo, batch recording a bunch of YouTube videos, and I say that because it's relevant to today's topic, which is all about the things that are killing your content and what I believe is the ultimate engagement hack. So I say this as a person who creates a lot of content. Like I said, we are here on location, all day, banging out all of these videos. I was just at the podcast studio the day before, batch creating a bunch of podcasts. And then on top of that, I'm creating a lot of content for Instagram. So I'm always coming up with something, and then I'm always coming up with new freebies and new programs. And a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, how do you come up with so much content? How do you create content that your target market actually resonates with, that makes them want to come back for more? And I find that really everybody has the ability to create content that is resonant, that people like, that gets a lot of engagement, and it has nothing to do with the algorithm. But I find that many people are restricting themselves by making these mistakes. So here are some things that, in my opinion, are absolutely killing your content. You want to stop it right now so that you can be free and really create content that not only matters, but gets the engagement that you're looking for. So with that, let's get into it. Okay, the first thing that is absolutely killing your content is creating content that is trying to get something from someone instead of content that is trying to get something to someone or give something to someone. We all know, because we've all done it, and I've raised my hand, I've done it as well, where we think like, okay, what is a product that I want to sell? Okay, I want to sell this product. What is some content that I can create that I'm creating just for the sole purpose of selling this product? Well, here's the thing. You think nobody can read that on you, or no one can sense it, but it's not the case. People can totally sense it, and they can read it when you are just coming up with something just for the sake of selling something, or even if you're not selling something, but you're coming up with something just for the sake of getting somebody's, contact information, or just for the sake of getting a like and a follow, or just for the sake of whatever, right? You're trying to get something versus trying to give something. I know for me, my engagement is through the roof when I, on my own, am learning a lesson or have an epiphany or realize some lesson that I've learned in the past, connects with something that my audience is always asking me about. And I almost feel like a jolt of lightning, or like a rush, where I'm like a crazy person, scribbling on notepads or trying to find my phone so I can save it in the notes app before I forget, where I'm like, oh my goodness, this insight is amazing. If my audience only understood this thing, then it would help them achieve this goal that they ask me about all the time. This is it. It's like a eureka moment, and I'm rushing. I cannot stop myself fast enough to live stream. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that sometimes I just randomly pop up in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm like, guys, this just happened. I have to talk to you about this crazy lesson, fell out of the sky, and I have to share this with you. Now, even with me explaining that, you can see how much different my energy was, even in explaining that situation, let alone if I was actually creating content from that place. And so it's the same for you. So I just want to free you right now. And I know it's hard, so you're going to have faith on this one. But if you are stressed out because you're like, I need more clients, my pipeline is dry, I want to sell more products, blah, 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 and you're wasting all this time trying to come up with this manufactured content that is going to sell that program or that whatever, just stop. Just stop. You don't need to do that anymore. Trust that if you create content that, again, is magnetic, that is resonant, that people are like, oh my goodness, where did you get this from? Trust that those people are gonna buy what you have to sell anyway, because they're gonna want more of what you have to offer. So lay this idea down of okay, I have to create content a certain way in order to sell something, and then truly, from the bottom of your heart, right? Or from your brain, or whatever is giving you that electric jolt right now, what is something that you almost can't wait to get out? What is something that you want to give? Forget about what you're trying to get. What is something that you want to give? And if you're finding that you're not getting a lot of those lightning bolt moments, it could be because you are not taking the time to fill yourself up, right? You can't draw from an empty well. So for me, I'm always investing in myself. It could be something as simple as just investing the time, maybe an hour, to listen to a podcast or watch a video that I think is really interesting. Or it could be taking the money to invest in various programs or masterminds that I want to be a part of, maybe purchasing a book, maybe just investing in a trip somewhere to see something different and to get a new experience. But I'm always investing, whether it's time, money, or any other resource, in my ability to receive raw materials, right? Raw experiences that ultimately will come out in my content and be really helpful for my target audience. So you want to get to a place where you are creating content because of just something that like, I got to get this out. I want to give it to you, not because you're trying to get something from someone, because when you create content in that way, it's completely killing your engagement. Like, just stop. Okay, the second thing that is absolutely killing your content is doing things that you don't actually like, right? We've talked about at length on this channel. I see many of your comments. You're like, Courtney, you gotta get on TikTok. You gotta get on TikTok. Look, I'm actually on TikTok. I don't have any content on TikTok yet, but we're working on it. We're gonna create some content on TikTok. But understand that even when I create content for TikTok, it will be in a way that is authentic to me and is like the type of content that I like to consume and the type of content that I want to produce and that I think is a good reflection of me. You will never see me creating content that I'm just not into. And that's not a judgment on anybody else's content. I think the kids who do these like dances and they're really cool, I watch them, I'm like, oh wow, great for you all, but that's not something that I want to do. However, because many people are in this like, again, fear-based mindset, they're like, oh, what do I have to do in order to get a client? I'll do anything, right? They're operating and creating content from that desperate energy. They find themselves creating a lot of content that they don't actually like. And here's the thing, it translates, especially if you're doing content like, being on camera or something that is highly visible. I know people who, they're not that much into the camera, they're not that much even into images, but they are amazing writers, they are amazing wordsmiths, they're poets, and just the way they have with words is just fantastic. We'll create content in a way that suits you in that way. It could be as simple as just having, a nice poem or a caption or quote or something, and maybe your whole feed on Instagram doesn't really showcase you a lot like images, but maybe it showcases a lot of your words. I mean, I know Instagram accounts that have over 1 million followers where basically the whole feed is just like snapshots of poetry or written word or something like that. Maybe you like expressing and speaking and, spoken word, but you don't necessarily like to be visible, so maybe podcasting is going to be an arena for you. So think about what is the content that you actually like to create. That's really important because it goes with the first point that I talked about, in the sense that you want to create content where you're trying to give something to people, not where you're trying to get. It's hard to have that flash of inspiration where you're creating content in a way that you don't actually like. So the two really go hand in hand. So if you're wondering, do I have to do something? You don't have to do anything. Like any method of content creation, of marketing, any method can work for the right person, right? For the person for whom it is in alignment with. So I think just in general with business and with marketing, and especially with content creation, we have to get out of this mindset of like, what's the thing that I need to do, this specific tactic that will work, and start having a deeper understanding of who we are. And based on who we are, what is the work that we need to create? What is the way that we need to market? What is the brand we need to create? What is all of that needs to happen? And by the way, if you didn't know, that's what we go over in depth in my program, the Next Big Name Bootcamp. I actually have a sneak peek that's here on this channel. You can check it out here, wherever it shows up on the screen, where you can see inside of the program and a lot of the depth that we really go into. But if that's something that's of interest to you, you're like, Courtney, I want to build a successful business. I want to be a leader, but I want to do it my way. You are going to love the Next Big Name Bootcamp. You can click the link below to apply and schedule a call with someone on my team. All right, the third thing that is completely killing your engagement is creating content for likes instead of legacy. I don't know what it is, but I feel like these social media, platforms have turned us all into like Pavlovian dogs, right? Shout out to 12th grade psychology class. But remember when you learned about the Pavlov experiment and whatever, he rang the bell and the dog started salivating and all of that. I feel like we're the same way. We're like salivating anytime somebody, gives us a like or leaves a comment or all these little engagement metric cues. And so it's really sad that we end up creating content that it gets a lot of engagement, but it's not really authentic to us. And the only reason we created it is because we wanted the likes, or because we wanted the comments or the virality or whatever it is. But something that I've really been thinking about, especially since having kids, and especially now that my kids are getting a bit older, my oldest son is now becoming school age, going to kindergarten. And I'm really thinking like, wow, social media is here to stay. Online marketing is here to stay. Yes, I'm creating content ultimately to attract my ideal clients, but this content that I'm creating is something that my kids are gonna stumble on one day, right? They're gonna be on their phone reading mommy's posts back from, 2020, 2021, 2022, and now 2023. And is that content something that I feel like is a part of my legacy? Like, if I think about my life's portfolio and my life's work, even, the little quotes here, all of them are building blocks to ultimately, the work that we're creating and the legacy that we're going to leave. And so am I creating with that in mind, or am I creating with short-term likes in mind? I know it feels good to get those short-term likes, and there's nothing wrong with likes per se, but if you're doing it just for likes' sake, but not for legacy's sake, again, your audience can feel that, you can feel that, and that's where the gap is and why you're not getting the engagement that you're looking for and why it's absolutely killing your content. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, again, you're really gonna love everything that we cover in the Next Big Name Bootcamp. You can click the link below to apply and schedule a call with my team. But with that, if you can't wait to my next video, make sure that you're subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next video or my next podcast episode, make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.